What a whirlwind craziness of a year it has been, with me having to move countries, deal with culture shocks, adapt to strenuous work schedules. 2022 had really brought out a different version of me and some. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Aquarian Diaries, where I take you through snippets of my life and share how art is my constant grounding factor. And if you do happen to like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So, it was the early summer of 2022 when I packed up my bags and made my way to the United States. The wildflowers had just started blooming. Every trail spoke of the colors, sight and smell of the incoming spring. The dull grey winterland had started making its way for the vibrancy of summer. It was such a lovely welcome to the country. I was lucky to be in a city that had so many parks and trails in its close vicinity. There was no dearth of inspiration. Being a landscape artist, both the city and its neighborhood had plenty for me. Be the natural outscapes or the bridges of the city, I clicked numerous pictures, but all of that kept piling up in my photo gallery because my work had taken precedence. Moving into a new country came with its challenges. Within a couple of months, I had to also shift apartments while doing 12-hour shifts in a new job, but more on that later. Back in my country, I was painting on a regular basis, but after me moving to the United States, I had hardly painted. And one fine day, I told myself, enough is enough. Bring out your brushes, bring out your colors, let's start painting. The snippets in this video are from two different parks that I visited. The one that particularly got my interest was the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden and the Japanese lake right in the center of the garden. I chose to paint a sketchbook spread as opposed to a final piece of painting that I could frame and put up on the wall. The reason was that I wanted to paint something really quick that embodied the feelings or my emotions when I was in the garden at that time, and also to remove the added pressure on me when I have to look at a large expanse of white paper to create a final painting. My approach to the sketchbook spread was pretty simple, I would say. I chose a watercolor pencil that would dissolve when I use watercolors or gouache on top of it. I quickly sketched down what I remembered from my walk in the garden. Once I'm done with the sketch, I pick up very dilute colors of the gouache. The gouache here I'm using is from Winsor and Newton. I use very light shades of the colors and place them just to block them and give me a sense of perspective that this is where the light shines through the forest, this is where the dark shades are, and I would build my scenery from there. There were times during painting when I used to go back and refer the videos just to get an example or just to remind myself of what it felt like being there so that I could bring that emotion back into my painting. It was a real surreal experience. There were hardly any people in the park and it was bright and sunny that day, so the shadows were very crisp, and that was something I wanted to depict in my paintings. I also liked the reflection of the greenery in the water, so that was also a prime area of focus for me. You'll see me building up the painting layer by layer, bit by bit, trying to work with tonal values to depict the distance from the viewer. The Botanic Garden in itself wasn't really huge. It took me around 45 minutes to cover the entire stretch, but I was here at the Japanese lake for the most time. There was a calmness, a serenity near the lake, and it really spoke out to me, and that was something I really wanted to capture in my painting. Once done with the Japanese lake, the next study was about the forest bed where I was walking, looking at the sunlight coming through the leaves of the tall trees. So I particularly wanted to spend some time highlight the ruggedness of the barks of the trees, and I take my time in doing that, again building it layer on layer, playing with colors, not just sticking to brown and black but playing with shades of red as well. For the major part of this painting I had only used a few primaries, white and a black, to get my colors. It just brings in an extra dimension to your painting rather than having pre-made color mixes that form part of your painting. By the way, I had to take my own sweet time to get this sketchbook spread made because I couldn't do this in one sitting. I started off on one weekend and it took me a good 3-4 weekends to get this done because I had lost the focus and the discipline that came from painting every day. So it took me quite some time to get myself in that mind space to paint. By the way, guys, I want to take this time to actually thank you for sticking around, for giving your constant support on this channel even when I wasn't posting regularly. Now when the time has come for me to go back to my home country, I plan to post more regularly, and yeah, your support means the world to me. It gives me the encouragement, the energy to keep creating and keep posting, keep telling you about the different approaches of making art, the different art styles, and also sharing snippets of my life. So thank you once again for your immense support to this channel. It goes without saying that setting up a life in a new country comes with its challenges. What makes the struggle worthy is if you find new friends and explore new horizons, you find a new version of yourself that you didn't know even existed. 2022 made me more independent. It made me feel comfortable being alone. The last spread in the sketchbook was the entrance stone to the Botanic Garden of Pittsburgh. I really liked this marble structure and the calligraphy on it, and I wanted to make my own version of it. So I used a combination of watercolor pencils and gouache and watercolors to come up with the stone textures. While making this sketchbook spread, there was a rough idea in my head that I also wanted to write down my thoughts, and that's why you would see me leaving huge white spaces in this sketchbook spread. When I show you the final completed look, you would see the write-ups, but that's my suggestion, right? If you do want to make a sketchbook spread of an entire day out, or maybe want to portray a story in your sketchbook spread, to make sure that you have a healthy mix of colors and whites for your write-up. It just brings out a very different feel to the whole sketchbook study. This part of the sketchbook painting really was amazing because the moment you hit the whites with the dark colors, you see the stark contrast of where the sun hits the stones. It's a very neat trick, right, to play with tonal values of colors. And here I'm just jotting down the colors that I've used for this painting. Like you've seen, I do not use ready-made greens because I like the vibrancy that I get from mixes. So yeah, it's been great to have you till this point in the video. Thank you for sticking around, And if you did like this video, don't forget to like and share this with your artist friends and hit that subscribe button. I promise you there'll be more videos in the future. And yeah, thank you, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.